In the chaos of modern life, where notifications attack our peace, where social media demands we always look perfect, and where everything feels like a never-ending race, this is where modern Stoicism finds its place. Stoicism, once alive among the marble pillars of Greece and the dusty roads of Rome, now lives in the glow of our phone screens. It does not pull us backward into history. Instead, it teaches us how to be strong, here, today, in a world overflowing with noise and distraction. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who ruled through war and unrest, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Today, that chaos comes as overthinking, burnout, unrealistic expectations, and endless comparison. Modern Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless, it's about becoming clear. It's not about being stiff but steady. It doesn't demand we suppress emotions, but that we filter them through wisdom. We live in a time where success is often defined by public validation, but a modern Stoic knows true success is self-mastery. It's not how many followers you have, but how deeply you know yourself. When others show off their achievements, the Stoic remains grounded because they understand what you own doesn't matter as much as who you're becoming. In modern Stoicism, we ask ourselves the crucial question, what can I control today, and what must I let go of? The answer, more often than not, is simple. You can control your attitude, your intentions, and the way you respond to the world. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the final outcome. And you certainly cannot control what others think of you. And that's okay. Modern Stoicism is about slowing down, not to lose, but to win deeper. It's about seeing life not through the lens of the world's chaos, but through the calm center of your own awareness. That's where true strength lives, within you. So when the world says hurry, you can reply, slow is fine. When the world says show off, you can ask, but why? When the world says don't fall behind, you can whisper, I'm not racing. Because in modern Stoicism, life isn't about beating others. It's about overcoming the storm inside your own mind. And today, maybe the boldest revolution is this: to stay calm in a world that never is. The modern Stoic is not always silent, but they know the value of silence. They do not always retreat, but they understand when to step back, not in defeat, but in wisdom. They walk through a world addicted to opinions and choose stillness. Not because they don't care, but because not everything deserves their energy. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In today's world, your reaction is your power, your pause is your strength. In a digital age where speed is celebrated and depth is forgotten, the Stoic chooses depth. Instead of chasing every notification, they ask, will this matter in the long run? Instead of replying in anger, they breathe. Instead of proving something to the world, they prove something to themselves. That inner peace is real even now. You see, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a shield, a compass, a rhythm. It teaches us to say, this is beyond me and that's all right. It helps us cut through noise and find the essential. Think about your daily life. How often do you stress about things you can't change? How much energy do you spend trying to make people like you, fear your silence, or notice your effort? The modern Stoic understands none of that builds peace. And peace is not optional. Peace is survival. To live without Stoicism today is to be swept by every trend, every drama, every shift of culture. But with Stoicism, you become a lighthouse, still, strong, and clear, while the world spins like a storm. And this doesn't mean becoming cold. No, the modern Stoic can love deeply, can laugh freely, can create beautifully, but they do so from a place of inner balance, not desperation. They say yes when they mean it. They say no without guilt. They let go of what poisons their soul, even if it once felt good. Because clarity is better than comfort, and peace is more valuable than popularity. In the heart of chaos, the modern Stoic whispers, let the world rage, I will not. They don't escape life. They engage with it on their own terms. They feel fear, but do not feed it. They feel anger, but do not obey it. They live among people, but belong to themselves. This is not detachment from life, this is mastery of it. In an era where everyone wants to be seen, the modern Stoic chooses to observe. While the crowd runs, they stay grounded. While many react, they respond. Their power comes not from control but from acceptance, because they know the truth. What you control is small. What controls you is vast unless you wake up. They train their minds like warriors train their bodies every day, a battle between impulse and intention. Every day, a chance to pause before the storm. Not everything needs to be said. Not everything needs a response. Not everything deserves your time. This isn't weakness, this is clarity, this is strength. The modern Stoic doesn't seek applause, they seek integrity. They may walk alone sometimes, misunderstood, but they walk with honor, and honor never needs to shout. Let others chase fame. Let others compete for approval. The Stoic competes only with who they were yesterday. And when darkness comes, as it does, they do not panic. They light a candle in their chest and say, "This too will pass, and when it does, I will still be here, whole." In a world obsessed with comfort, the modern Stoic chooses discipline. Not because it's easy, but because it sharpens the soul. They wake early, not to chase the world, but to meet themselves in silence. They journal, not to impress, but to understand. They breathe deeply, not to escape, but to stay present. Because they've realized, most of life's pain comes from avoiding it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every hardship, a classroom, every insult, a mirror, every delay, a reminder. You're not in control, but you are always responsible. Responsibility not in the sense of blame, but in the power of ownership. You can't control what others say. You can't control what the economy does. You can't even control how long you'll live. But you can control how you live today. That's the Stoic's daily practice, to choose calm when provoked. To choose courage when afraid. To choose virtue when tempted. Not for show, not for praise, but because it is right. When modern life screams, "React now," the Stoic whispers, "Wait." When the algorithm says, "Seek validation," the Stoic replies, "I already approve of myself." They don't drown in trends. They rise above them. They don't fear boredom. They embrace it as a doorway to wisdom. Because the greatest clarity is found in stillness, and the strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove it. The modern Stoic does not chase, they attract, through presence, integrity, and peace. They walk into a room and do not need to speak loudly. Their calm presence speaks for them. Not with arrogance, but with deep-rooted stillness, a kind of energy that says, "I've been through storms, and I've learned to dance in the rain." They've failed, they've broken, they've fallen short of their own expectations. But they didn't use that as an excuse to give up. They used it as evidence that even when things go wrong, they can rise again. Modern Stoicism is not about perfection, it's about progress through chaos. It's about accepting that you are not the center of the universe, but also refusing to be a passive participant in your own life. The Stoic mindset isn't about never feeling sad, angry, or overwhelmed. It's about what you do after those emotions hit. Do you act from emotion or from principle? Do you seek revenge or do you rise above? Do you collapse or do you recalibrate? Because every moment is a chance to return to yourself. Not the self shaped by fear, but the self shaped by clarity, wisdom, and purpose. They don't need to fight the world. They just need to stop fighting their own nature. To master the self, that is the ultimate rebellion in an age of weakness. And so, in a world that constantly pulls you in every direction, toward noise, comparison, distraction, and weakness, remember this: you are not powerless. You have within you the ability to pause, to breathe, to choose your response. That moment of pause, that sacred gap between stimulus and reaction, is where your power lives. You don't have to be louder, you don't have to be tougher, you just have to be clear. Clear about your values, clear about your boundaries, clear about your purpose. Modern Stoicism is not about becoming someone else. It's about unbecoming all that is not truly you. So walk slowly, speak less, observe more, and when you act, act from the deepest, calmest part of who you are. Not to impress, not to win, but to live fully, wisely, and without regret. Stay grounded, stay true, and never ever forget. Strength isn't about how loud you roar, but how deeply rooted you remain in the silence.